Hello everyone, my name is Greg and I dev stuff. Welcome everyone to episode 14 of JRPG Tutorial. In this episode we are going to finalize editor side of the enemy encounters. Before we continue, I downloaded two free model pack for the characters from the asset store to be used as an enemy models. I will put links in the description. So let's put all our models into separate folder and call it models. Good, now we want to create a new scriptable object type called an enemy encounter. Add create asset menu attribute. Then define public list of enemies, which will represent the enemies in the encounter. Create new scriptable object called encounter list. So when you generate enemy group on map, you can assign randomly selected enemy encounter out of predefined list of possible encounters. So define public list enemy encounter. Okay, so let's pull out one of those three models we downloaded. What we want to do is to set them in the way we want them to be represented in the combat, and prefab them. So later on this prefab will be instantiated and used in the combat. So I choose the dragon and I choose one of those models and scale it down to make it smaller than Unity-chan, because I want to make them look smaller than main character in the battle. It's just stylistical choice, you can do whatever you want with this visual side of those models. Then add new script called enemy controller. This script will be responsible for controlling the enemy in the combat. So now we want to animate our dragon, right? Well, we can make a new animator controller for the dragon, then add walk run animation and let's say attack animation, death animation, etc, etc. But there is a problem with this. Later on we will add more models with animations. In our case it will be an orc, or later on we might download more additional models. But imagine if you have like 100 of those models, and each and every one of them will have an animator controller. What if at some point you decide to add more animation states? Let's say you want to add separate animation for casting spells. What if at some point you want to add a list of different cast animations based on, I don't know, type of spell? So you will have to open each and every enemy animator controller and add a new animator states. More clicking around, more chances to make a mistake. So we will do something better. We will use animator override controller. Idea is we will build one universal animator controller for enemy monsters, and then just override states in it rather than making an animator controller for each and every enemy in the game. So you will have one base animator controller which we will reuse as much as possible. And if you want to apply some changes, it will be only in one specific place rather than staggered between multiple animator controllers. So let's start by creating a new animator controller. Let's call it Creature Animator Controller. Then inside, let's simply put 4 states: idle, walk, dead, and attack. We will not go in depth with the animator controller and animations in this tutorial series. Just simple animator controller. Link the attack back to the idle, and link the walk with idle both ways. Make a new bool called walking and use it as state between walking and idle. To be able to override states, you must have some kind of animation attached to the states. Create a blank animation in Unity, each for each state, and apply them to corresponding states. Okay, now let's create instance of animator override controller. For me it will be a dragon. Assign animator controller we want to override. You will see 4 states to be overridden. If you don't see these states, most likely you did not attach blank animations to the states. Apply the animations for the model you used. Select the enemy model on the scene and replace animator controller with our new animator override controller. Now it is time to prefab our newly created enemy model. Make it original prefab. Some of you might think, why not embed the model or override controller onto our enemy instance? And it is actually a good idea, but there is an issue. This idea will work very well if you have models for each and every enemy. But if you want to reuse your models, then you can embed it, but it will be uncomfortable to use. In the enemy scriptable object, change the name. Apply the prefab of the model we created. Then in encounter instance, add to the list one reference to our dragon. Then in next instance of encounter, add 2 references to our dragon, and in third one apply 3 references to the dragon. Then in the list reference those 3 encounters. So what we are going to do is that when enemy group is generated on the world map, one of those encounters are selected and referenced. So when you get into encounter with enemies, you will get one of those 3 referenced encounters in the list. Okay, open the enemy spawner container and create a public reference to encounter list. Let's make a new method called getEncounter. It will return enemy encounter. Check that encounter list is not null. And then return random encounter from the list of possible encounters in the encounter list. Open the enemy group. Define a public reference to the enemy encounter. Open the enemy spawner in the spawn method. Call getEncounter from container. Assign what it returned to the encounter in enemy group. And at this note we will end this episode. We will start the next episode by making a transition to the combat encounter. If you have any questions or any ideas about code, please leave your comment below. If you are interested in seeing what will come out of this, please subscribe. If you want to support further, you can find my Patreon in the description. With best regards, see you in the next episode.